Let me share something few men understand. When a woman is drunk, she doesn't run. She might speak in circles, laugh too loud, or cry over things that seem small, but walk away. No, that internal filter gone, that emotional control disarmed. What surfaces in those moments is what she's been hiding while sober. Tonight, I'm going to break an unspoken rule. And I already know some women won't like this, because I'm about to hand you the truth they rarely admit. 6 questions that reveal what she really feels about you, what she silently desires, and what she'll never say in daylight when her mask is still on. But timing is everything. When the second glass is poured, when her eyes soften, when the tension fades and the room feels safe, that's when you ask. And if you listen with stillness, she'll tell you everything without even realizing it. This channel isn't for boys chasing mixed signals. It's for men who want clarity. If you're one of them, hit subscribe. Let's start with the first question. Question 1. Who was your first real love? It sounds innocent, like small talk over wine, but asked in the right moment, with calm, grounded energy. This question doesn't just unlock a memory. It unlocks the origin story of her emotional world, because her answer isn't about a name. It's about how she loved, how deeply she felt, and whether she's ever felt that way again. Take Michael. Wushar. Recently out of a long marriage, he was dating a woman who seemed kind, warm, and emotionally available. Over dinner one night, after weeks of connection, he asked her this exact question. She didn't mention an ex-husband or college boyfriend. She paused, smiled faintly, and said, "There was a boy, the summer I turned 19. We never even dated. But I've never felt so seen." Then she whispered something Michael never forgot. "I haven't felt that way since." Here's what most men miss. Her first real love is rarely about the man himself. It's about the feeling he sparked. That's what imprinted on her. That's what she unconsciously chases or avoids. And whether she knows it or not, that's what you're being compared to. This isn't about competition. It's about comprehension. The Stoic man doesn't flinch. He doesn't react. He listens not for who, but for what. What lit her up? Was it spontaneity? Was it stability? Was it the chaos of passion? Or the comfort of being understood? Julia, 40, dated a man years ago who was emotionally distant but magnetic. Even now, she finds herself drawn to men with that same aloof charm. Until one night, she said out loud, "I don't think I ever stopped loving him." That moment would break a boy. But a man knows this isn't rejection, it's revelation. Her first emotional imprint is a map. It shows you how she bonds, what breaks her open, and what she's quietly protecting. Most men ruin this moment. They get insecure. They try to prove they're better. That's how trust dies. But if you stay still, breathe, and hold the silence, she'll feel safe. She'll feel seen, and she'll trust you more than she understands. Because this question, it isn't about the past. It's about what still echoes in her present, and sometimes what she doesn't say matters more than what she does. The tone, the pause, the hesitation, all of it is truth if you know how to hear it. If you've ever experienced a moment like this, drop it in the comments below. Just write, "I've seen this." Because real men don't chase answers, they earn them. Question 2. What's something you've never told me? This question isn't a trap. It's not about catching her in a lie or pulling secrets out for the sake of drama. It's about creating a space where she can finally stop performing. Ask her when the night is soft, when the wine has mellowed her nerves, when the music fades into the background and her gaze lingers just a second longer than usual. That's when the mask begins to slip and something honest peeks through. Let me show you how that looks. Daniel, 56, a widower who recently began dating again, met Rachel, 50, a graceful woman, composed and magnetic. But behind that polish, something felt guarded. After a few months, one quiet evening, he asked her, "Is there anything you've never told me?" She exhaled slowly, then quietly said, "I'm scared of feeling too much again. The last time I did, I forgot who I was." It wasn't a confession. It was a truth, not about him, but about her past, her fear, her emotional armor. And suddenly, the way she pulled back when things felt too real made sense. See, questions like this don't uncover deception. They reveal protection. Not what she's hiding from you, but what she's still trying to survive within herself. Here's the beautiful and brutal part. Women remember every emotional bruise, even the invisible ones, even the ones they never spoke aloud. They carry them like torn pages in a book only they can read. So if she hands you one of those pages, don't mistake it for weakness. That's what trust looks like. What you do in that moment defines everything. Most men panic. They joke. They shift the subject, but not you. You're not here for surface smiles. You're here for what's real. Take Trevor, 56, dating Megan, 48. She always brought joy into a room, but when he asked her that question, she paused, then said, "I used to lie to feel safe. I'm not proud of it, but it helped me survive things I couldn't explain." He didn't react. He didn't judge. And from that moment, she began to speak with more truth than ever before. Sometimes the answer will be light. Sometimes it'll be heavy. But whatever it is, your role isn't to fix it. It's to hear it. Because women don't want to give their secrets to everyone. They want to give them to someone strong enough to hold them. So ask her, wait, be still. And if this moment has ever happened to you, drop it in the comments below. Just write, "I've heard the truth." Because real connection begins where judgment ends. Question 3. Do you ever wonder what your life would be like with someone else? It's a dangerous question on the surface, but beneath it lies an emotional X-ray. Because whether they admit it or not, every woman, at some point, has imagined another path, another man, another version of herself. It might have happened in a fleeting moment during an argument, or while watching a couple on screen who looked happier. It doesn't mean she's disloyal. It means she's human. But why ask it? Because her answer tells you what she feels she's missing, even if she doesn't know how to say it. Even if it's something small like adventure, freedom, deeper presence. Let me show you how this works. Howard, 56, had been seeing Melanie, 48, for about 7 months. Things felt steady but flat. No major fights, but also no spark. One quiet evening, he looked at her and asked softly, "Do you ever wonder what your life would be like with someone else?" Melanie didn't get defensive. She didn't accuse or flinch. She paused, then said, "Sometimes, I wonder what it would feel like to be with someone who really sees me not just as a partner, but as a woman." That moment didn't break them. It cracked something open. Howard realized he'd become so focused on being dependable, he forgot how to make her feel desired, not just safe, alive. So he changed not who he was, but how he expressed it. He started flirting again, touching her more deliberately, reminding her that he didn't just love her, he wanted her. This question doesn't need fireworks. It needs honesty and courage, because what she tells you, even if it stings, isn't rejection. It's a mirror. Sometimes she'll say, "I wish you talked to me more," or "I miss feeling surprised," or "I wonder what it'd be like to be with someone who's emotionally lighter." Your job isn't to react. It's to absorb, because in that answer is your roadmap. And if she says, "No, I've never thought about it," that's worth noting too. Maybe she's fully present with you, or maybe she's scared to reveal her truth. That's why tone matters. Not just what she says, but how flat, rehearsed, distant, or thoughtful, quiet, exposed. This isn't a first date question. It's not a weapon. It's a window. Ask it when the moment is slow, the room is quiet, and her guard is low. And when you do, don't rush to fill the silence. Let the question breathe, because sometimes the longest pause reveals the deepest truth. Now I've got a question for you. Have you ever dared to ask a woman this and truly listened? Comment below. I'm not afraid of truth, because that's how trust is built. And it starts with questions no one else is brave enough to ask. Question 4. What's the biggest lie you've ever told me? This question isn't playful. It's not flirtatious. It's not about curiosity. It's about weight. Because when you ask a woman this, you're not just digging into her memory, you're tapping into guilt. And guilt is heavy, sticky, and emotional. That's why this isn't a question to throw around casually. You ask it when she feels safe, when her guard is down, when the room is quiet and the trust is high, because when she answers honestly, it won't just shift how you see her, it might change how she sees herself. Everyone lies, even the kindest people, and most lies don't come from cruelty. They come from fear. Fear of being judged, fear of losing love, fear of disappointing someone we care about. So when you ask, what's the biggest lie you've ever told me? You're not accusing her. You're offering her a moment of truth, a mirror, a space where she can stop pretending. Let me show you how it plays out. Eric Wu Shiliu had been with Sophia Sushiba for nearly 2 years. She was intelligent, radiant, but always a bit emotionally guarded. One summer night, just the two of them on the porch. She'd had a glass of wine. The stars were out, and Eric leaned in and asked, "What's the biggest lie you've ever told me?" Sophia paused, looked down, then whispered, "When I told you I was over my last relationship, I wasn't. Not completely. She wasn't trying to manipulate. She was just scared. Afraid that if she told the truth too soon, she'd lose someone good. So she lied gently, quietly. Out of fear, Eric didn't explode. He didn't withdraw. He just asked. And now she nodded. Yes, but back then, I was still healing. That moment brought them closer, because it wasn't about perfection, it was about honesty, even when it hurts. This question is powerful because it reveals the unseen, the wounds she tried to cover, the truths she didn't think you could handle. And sometimes the lie isn't even dramatic. It could be, "I said I liked your family, but I really don't." Or, I told you I was fine when you hurt me, but I wasn't. Your job isn't to fix it or argue, it's to listen. Because if she can tell you the ugliest truth and still feel safe, that's real intimacy. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Tell me, are you strong enough to hold space for her unfiltered truth? Question 5. Who in our friend group do you find attractive? This one's a minefield. It's bold, risky, and not for the faint of heart. But if you're watching this, you're not looking for safe conversations. You're here for clarity, and sometimes that means walking into uncomfortable truths. Now, asking her who she finds attractive in your circle isn't about provoking jealousy. It's about learning something deeper. What kind of masculine energy stirs something inside her? Because attraction isn't always conscious. It's not always about action. Sometimes, it's just about presence, an energy she quietly notices but never speaks of. Let me give you an example. Eric Ushaba had been seeing Maya Sushichi for about 10 months. Things were flowing: dinners, road trips, laughs, connection. But Eric had a hunch. There was this guy in their group, Devon, late 42nd, charismatic, charming, confident. Eric had noticed that Maya's eyes lit up whenever Devon entered the room. The way she responded to his jokes, the slight lean-in when they talked. Nothing overt but noticeable. So one night, just the two of them, wine poured and candles burning. Eric asked, "Maya, out of everyone in our friend group, who do you find attractive?" She smirked, caught off guard, then said, "You." Of course. But Eric smiled, paused, and said, "No judgment, no pressure, just be real." And that's when Maya admitted it. She found Devon attractive, not in a romantic way, but in an energetic way. He just has that command, that alpha presence. And here's the key. Eric didn't get upset. He didn't argue. He leaned in and asked, "What about him pulls your attention?" That moment wasn't about Devon. It was about understanding the traits Maya's feminine energy naturally responded to: assertiveness, certainty, quiet dominance. When you ask this question, it's not about competing. It's about decoding what triggers her instincts. That's insight most men never access. Because once you know what energizes her attraction, you don't copy someone else. You refine yourself, not to impress her, but to activate the parts of you that may have gone dormant. Now, timing matters. Don't throw this question out mid-argument or in public. Ask it in a safe space. Calm energy. No tension. And whatever her answer is, don't weaponize it later. Don't bring it up in anger. That breaks trust. Instead, treat her honesty with maturity. Because every woman is watching for how you handle her truth. And every man either becomes stronger or smaller in that moment. So now it's your turn. Comment below. Be honest. Have you ever wanted to ask this question? Would you be able to hear her answer without letting your ego bleed? Let's find out. Question 6. If you could change one thing about our relationship, what would it be? This isn't a light question. It's not playful or flirty. It slices through the surface and gets to the heart of things. But if you're a man who wants more than performance, if you want truth, you need to ask this. See, what most men don't realize is that women rarely express dissatisfaction through confrontation. They express it through distance, through less touch, less eye contact, less warmth. So when you ask this question, you're giving her a door to walk through. You're telling her, "You're safe to speak here. Let me show you how this plays out." Elliot is 59. He's been with Rebecca, Wu Shiyi, for nearly 7 years. They don't argue much. They communicate well. But lately, things have felt mechanical. So one evening, Wiener, glasses half full, music low, Elliot asked, "If you could change one thing about us, what would it be?" Rebecca paused. She swirled the wine in her glass, then looked at him and said, "I miss feeling like I turn you on." She explained that things had become safe, predictable, like friendship with duty attached. She didn't want chaos or drama. She just missed the mystery, the heat, the game. Now, Elliot could have gotten defensive. He could have explained, justified, blamed work, blamed stress. But he didn't. He simply said, "Thank you for telling me." And that moment, it changed the energy between them. Because asking this question doesn't weaken you. It proves you can handle real intimacy. It shows her you're willing to hear the truth, even when it stings. Sometimes the answer might be, "I wish we had more emotional connection," or "I wish you saw me beyond just daily logistics." Another man, Leonard, 62, married to Sophia, 57 once, asked her the same question after watching an old romantic movie. She looked at him and said, "I wish you listened without always trying to fix me." It hit him hard, but it opened his eyes. He realized that love wasn't always a list of solutions. Sometimes, it's just presence, witnessing, being there without needing to do anything. When you ask this, you reveal emotional blind spots. You remove ego, and in doing so, you become the man who makes her feel seen again. But here's the key: don't dismiss her answer. Don't argue or joke it away. If she gives you honesty, hold it. Because what she says isn't just about her. It's about your strength to receive it. So now, it's your turn. If you're the kind of man who asks the real questions, let it be known in the comments. Write, "I face truth," and stay with me. Because what's coming next may not just reveal her truth. It might uncover her fantasy. Question 7. What do you miss about being single? This isn't the kind of question most men dare to ask. Not because it's inappropriate, but because they're afraid of the truth. You assume that because she chose you, she's never looked back. But the truth, everyone sacrifices something when they commit. Freedom, spontaneity, silence, the ability to simply exist for herself without compromise. This question isn't about betrayal. It's about bravery, the courage to recognize that love often coexists with longing for a former self. Let me give you a real example. Martin, Wu, has been dating Evelyn, Wu, for 6 years. Over wine and jazz on a quiet night, he looked over and asked, "What do you miss about being single?" Evelyn didn't answer right away. She smiled softly and said, "I miss waking up slow. No timeline, no expectations. I miss dancing in the kitchen without feeling watched. I miss flirting just for the fun of it." But here's the twist. She wasn't saying she wanted someone else. She was saying she missed parts of herself. And Martin didn't panic. He nodded and replied, "Thank you for being honest. Because when you ask this, you're not inviting distance. You're creating safety. You're showing her, I know you gave something up to be with me. And I honor that." Let me be clear, this isn't about insecurity. It's about insight. You'll discover what fuels her soul, What helps her breathe? What helps her feel like her? Not just your partner. And paradoxically, the more space she feels to be herself, the more deeply she'll lean into you. But here's your warning: do not twist her words later. Don't mock her, guilt her, or bring it up when you're angry. That breaks trust instantly. Instead, thank her. Then use what you learned to elevate the relationship, not control it. Now, if you're man enough to hold space for the real answer, say it in the comments. I honor her truth. And don't go anywhere, because the next question, it reveals not just what she feels, but what she fantasizes. Question 8. When was the last time you felt truly desired? This question isn't casual. It's not for small talk. It's for the moments when the room is quiet, when the armor is off, and the truth has space to breathe. When was the last time you felt truly desired, not loved, not appreciated, not needed, but desired raw, real, and undeniable? That question doesn't ask for logic. It pulls from somewhere, deeper instinct, memory, longing, and most women, they don't expect it. Not from a man who isn't trying to get something, not when it's asked from a place of curiosity, not control. Let me show you what this question really uncovers. Take Matthew 54, married for over 18 years to Elaine. Wu Shiyi, they have a life most people would envy. Stability, laughter, shared history. But one night, after a dinner without the kids, without distractions, just candlelight and silence, Matthew asked her softly, "When was the last time you felt truly desired?" Elaine looked at him and didn't speak for almost a full minute. Then she said, "It's been years, maybe even before the house, before the job stress, before everything got so scheduled." She wasn't blaming him. She wasn't even sad. She was simply revealing a truth she had buried under routine. And Matthew didn't panic. He didn't apologize. He just took her hand and said, "Thank you for telling me, because that's what this moment demands: presence, not performance." See, desire for a woman isn't about lust alone. It's about being noticed, craved, seen with heat in your eyes. It's about the look that lingers, the hand that reaches, the energy that says, "I still feel you." When you ask this, you're giving her something rare. You're saying, "I still see the fire in you, even if life tried to dim it." Now take a different story, Jared. 49. He met up with his ex-partner, Liana. 47. After months of silence, it was supposed to be light, a simple catch-up, but midway through, he asked her that same question. Her answer, "When you used to pull me close without saying a word." She wasn't just reminiscing. She was confessing what made her feel alive. And Jared didn't interrupt. He didn't make it about the past. He listened fully. Because when a woman opens up about this, you don't talk. You hold space. This isn't about seduction. It's about reawakening. And the man who can do that, he becomes unforgettable. But a word of warning: if you ask this question just to manipulate or to fish for reassurance, she'll feel it. She'll shut down. But if you ask it with respect, and you're ready to receive her truth, even if it stings, it will change everything. So I'll ask you now, are you brave enough to look her in the eyes and say, "When was the last time you felt truly desired?" If you are, say it in the comments. I ask the real questions, and if that stirred something inside you, wait until you hear the next one. Because what comes next opens the door to her wildest truth. Question 9. Is there something you fantasize about but haven't told me? This isn't a casual question. It's a gentle invitation into the corner of her mind she rarely lets anyone see. Not because she's hiding something scandalous, but because most men never ask. When you say it, when was the last time you imagined something but kept it to yourself? You're not just poking curiosity. You're showing courage. You're telling her, I'm ready to know more than what's safe. I want to know what's real. Let me show you how powerful that can be. Samuel, Wushasan, had been dating Eliza, Sushaba, for nearly a year. They had routine, comfort, laughter, but something always felt slightly muted. Until one night, soft lights, no distractions, he asked her this question. She blinked, smiled slowly, then asked, "Are you sure you want to know?" What followed wasn't shocking. It was vulnerable. She talked about craving more unpredictability, more passion, more moments where she didn't feel like a schedule. She felt like a woman again. And Samuel didn't joke. He didn't recoil. He simply nodded, leaned in, and said, "Thank you for telling me." That's the key. This question isn't about testing boundaries. It's about unlocking honesty. Because for many women, their fantasy isn't about something new. It's about feeling seen again, chased again, desired again, without being judged. Here's what most men miss. If she still has unspoken fantasies, there's still fire within her. And if you're brave enough to ask, you can be the one to light it. But don't ask in a rush. Don't ask with suspicion. Ask with patience. Ask when she feels safe. Ask when she believes you won't weaponize her truth. And then just listen. Because the rarest man is not the one who demands secrets. It's the one who makes her feel free to reveal them willingly. So, if you've ever wondered what she dreams about in silence, ask. And if you're the kind of man who values truth over comfort, drop a comment below. I want the truth. Question 10. What do you think about us in 5 years? This isn't a question for romance. It's a question for clarity. You're not asking for a fantasy. You're asking if her emotional compass is still pointing in your direction. Because when a man asks, "Where do you see us 5 years from now?" he's not talking about time. He's talking about alignment, about emotional investment, about whether the two of you are still rowing the same boat or just drifting. And for a woman in her 42nd or 52nd, this question cuts deep. It doesn't just make her think about you, it forces her to think about herself, about her goals, her fears, and the direction she's really heading. Let me show you what I mean. Edward, Wushalil, had been dating Claire, Wushasan, for over a year. Things were going smoothly, comfortable, safe, but something didn't feel like it was building. So, one night, no setup, no script, just a quiet moment, he asked her, "Do you see a future with me 5 years from now?" She paused, then softly replied, "I don't know. I love being with you now, but I haven't really thought ahead." That one answer told Edward everything he needed, not because she didn't care, but because she wasn't planning. And that's the power of this question. It reveals whether you're a part of her future or just a placeholder in her present. You see, a woman who truly envisions a life with you already speaks in we, not me. She talks about our vacations, our plans, our next chapter, and if she hesitates, deflects, or avoids the subject, you've uncovered a truth. She wasn't saying out loud, but here's the key. Ask this not to pressure her, but to respect yourself, because clarity always wins over comfort. You're not asking to judge her. You're asking to understand if you're walking toward the same vision, and that is what separates a man who leads with strength from one who stays stuck in limbo. If something in this video struck a chord with you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way, you'll never miss the quiet shifts that reshape your inner world. This isn't about chasing approval. It's about leading yourself. We're building a space where men think deeper, act stronger, and grow in silence. One mindset shift at a time. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, real change doesn't shout. It whispers, and you feel it when you're ready. I'll see you in the next one.